Hi, and welcome back to the show. So, last week we talked about how to launch your course and the real importance of having an audience of people to launch your new course or new product to before you even finish completely building it. And really, building an audience can be as simple as building your email list, they can be one and the same. And what I've heard, though, and what I've experienced myself is that, okay, that's great. So building your audience, you've heard me talk about lead magnets. This is a great way to build your email list. So you put out a lead magnet that's going to be really valuable to your audience, your ideal customers. They opt in, they get on your email list, and then you nurture them and then you share what you offer and see if they want to buy it. That's all great. But what we still struggle with is how do we get people to actually see our lead magnet and see our free resource that we're offering to people and get people onto that email list? It's kind of this thing where it's like, well, you're telling me to build this audience so I can promote things, but first I need to build the audience. But how do I do that? So today I really want to focus on that. I want to talk about some unique ideas that you can use to get your lead magnet in front of more people and get those people to be opting in and getting on your email list, getting into your audience so that you can then have a successful business. And I won't really go into the details of all the benefits of having an email list and why I focus on this so much. We definitely have a few episodes in the past where I've talked about this in detail, but basically, having a larger email list is going to allow you to have more leads, more clients, more predictable income because you're always going to have a pool of people who are interested in what you have to say and what you offer that you can continue to nurture and then basically pitch to. It's not going to feel like that because you're really just offering value and offering a way for you to help them and for them to get help from you and work with you. But basically, in a nutshell, a group of people that you can pitch to on a regular basis so that they can buy into your services and whatever it is you're offering. So I'm going to really go through today a bunch of different tips to focus on how to do this, how to build this large audience that's growing week after week, month after month. And this is really great for you, especially if you're starting from scratch or have a smaller following, because you don't need to have a really big following or have a really big business in order to start building your audience. You can be doing this from day one. And honestly, the earlier you start, the better. I know for myself, one of my biggest regrets in my business is that I waited too long to really lean into building my email list more. I did do some of the things that we're talking about, but not all of them. And I didn't do all of them consistently. And I still, now I'm catching up. I'm playing catch up and building my list, and that's great. But this is definitely something that takes time. And all of our businesses, we're hoping for that longevity. And so if you get started in year one, building your email list, it's just going to continue to get better and better over time. And that's just going to be such a huge asset for you in your business. And then I also just want to touch on another mistake I see people make, which is to just rely on social media and really get kind of wrapped up in the frenzy of likes and shares and comments on your posts and your reels, and you get more followers and, oh, that's great. I have all these people that are engaging with my content on social media. That's best case scenario. A lot of times we're struggling to get people to see our content. But let's say that you are doing well on social media, but just remember that social media, you don't own that platform. You don't own that audience. If Instagram goes away or if it changes its algorithm, it's possible you're going to lose followers. You're going to have people not seeing your content. And so email, that's 100% yours. Your email list is yours and you can take it to other platforms. I use ConvertKit, but I used to use MailChimp. I can take that to another platform, but it's email and it's me connecting with people one-on-one in their inboxes. And of course, you can say, oh, it's crowded. Everyone's getting so many emails. Yeah, social media is crowded too. All of these places are crowded. But you know what? If you're putting out valuable content, the people that are opening your emails, the people that are staying on your email list, they're the ones that are really benefiting from what you have to say. And those are your people. So it's okay that you get people unsubscribing or not everyone is opening your emails. We want to be focusing on those people that are opening our emails and that's a whole nother conversation. I think one of the best things is really focusing on your subject lines and making sure that those are really catchy. So people are opening your emails and wanting to read what you are sending them. But definitely relying just on social media, even if things are going great, what you really need to be doing is sending people from your social media to your email list and getting them on there so that you have another way to work with nurturing them and building that relationship with them. And then a final mistake, and this is really what we're going to remedy today, is folks just not promoting their lead magnet effectively. So they spend time on this lead magnet. It's great. It's detailed. It's really going to help people. But if it's not being shared, if you're only relying on one of the tactics that I talk about today, then you're probably not going to see the growth that you're looking for. So this is where your strategy really kicks in, like how to promote it effectively. We want to be getting it out in front of as many audiences as possible so that we can get those people into our audience. So without further ado, let's talk through a bunch of different strategies and ideas I have for you to grow your email list. Even if you don't have a large following, if you are literally starting today with an email list of your mom and your husband, that is okay. We are going to get that fixed and get you growing your email list. And just remember, it takes time to do this. So I'm not saying that these tactics are suddenly going to bring you hundreds of people. It also really depends on your industry and your niche and so many different factors. So I don't think there's one number to pay attention to, like, oh, I should be growing my email list by 10 people or 100 people or 1,000 people. Just focus on steady promotion efforts that are going to pay off. We just want to see those numbers continuing to increase at a steady rate over time. So first tactic, you may not be surprised by this, but have your website really be promoting and featuring your lead magnet prominently. So it really is important to have your lead magnet front and center on your website, no matter how much traffic you're currently getting, because every person that is seeing your site and getting sent to your site, whether you're sharing your website or you are going to doctor's offices for referrals or your website is featured in directories, whatever the case may be, people are coming to your site. And you've heard me talk about this before. They are not always ready to buy yet. So we want to give people other things to do from your website that don't involve just getting on a sales call or submitting an application or submitting a contact form. So a lead magnet opt-in is a great opportunity for people to get a little value from you, learn from you, get to know you a little bit more without having to make that full commitment. It's like a micro conversion is what they call it. So we want to get people just taking little actions here and there, and then it also allows you to nurture them and all of that good stuff of getting them on your email list. So some places to make sure that you definitely have your lead magnet featured is you can have a header banner. So above the navigation on your homepage, you can actually have a little banner. And this is something that we include on all of our template websites that we give to clients in our website program. There's a little banner there. You can put some catchy, like one line of text talking about your lead magnet. If you go to my website, whitneybateson.com, you will see my lead magnet du jour. I do swap out my lead magnets every so often. And I think that's just kind of a pro thing to do as time goes on, as you create more lead magnets. Don't worry, if you only have one to start, that's fine. But as time goes on, you can be swapping those out. So in your header, you can have a link, and that's going to be going to the opt-in page for that lead magnet, or maybe when you click it, it brings a pop-up that does that. Speaking of pop-ups, you could have a pop-up on your website. I would say be conscientious about those pop-ups. I personally, when I come to a website and I immediately get a pop-up, I am not ready yet. I wanted to read that website a little bit more and understand what they were about and get some more information before opting in. So I usually close pop-ups right away, but then it's possible that I might want to actually get that resource that they were sharing. And so that's why relying solely on pop-ups to feature your lead magnet is not a good idea. I would say have that banner, also have it in your footer somewhere. You could also just have a section on your homepage that is maybe talking about that lead magnet a little bit more. Maybe there's a little mock-up, an image of that you can create in Canva really quickly to have your lead magnet looking really good and people can opt in right there. You can also and should have it in your blog posts. So if you have different lead magnets, then and you have different blog posts that are speaking to different things, then have that blog post have a call to action or a section maybe midway through that is inviting people to download your opt-in. Or if you only have one lead magnet at the time, then you can just share it in the blog post where it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, that's okay. Don't feel like you have to put it in every blog post, but that's another thing to do. Also, the sidebar of your blog, you could have it there. That's another thing that we encourage our clients to do is just always have their lead magnet in the sidebar. In blog posts, you can have a resource page on your website. If you have a few different lead magnets and you want people to pick which one is right for them, you could have that there. So just remember that even a small amount of organic traffic, so people that are just coming, finding your site from search engines or they're being sent to your website in some way, can be converted into leads and into email subscribers if the lead magnet is visible in key places. And remember too, mobile phone. So I would maybe not have the pop-up on a mobile phone. I would maybe only have the pop-up on your desktop version of your website. You could also just consider maybe having the pop-up, making sure that it's really easy to close on mobile, because sometimes I've seen people have pop-ups that it's really hard to close it. It's just really frustrating. You could also have the pop-up be delayed or only appear on certain pages. So when someone scrolls through half of your blog post, then have the pop-up come up. So you can get fancy. You can do some different stuff. And you, like I said, rotate your pop-ups every so often. So all that, those are just great ways to leverage your website and the traffic that you're sending to your website to get those folks onto your email list and offer them something really valuable. All right, let's move on to tactic number 2. Leveraging online communities. This is one of my favorites, and this was something that I definitely focused on a lot when I was getting started and still do on occasion, but definitely when I was getting started, this helped a lot. So go into online communities, so Facebook groups, Reddit threads, other forums where your audience and your ideal customers are hanging out, where they are asking questions, they are looking for resources, they are just trying to connect with figuring whatever it is out that you help people figure out. And then what you're going to do is provide value first. So before just sharing the link to your lead magnet, if someone is asking a question that's relevant to you, answer that question, give a meaningful, authentic response. And then if it makes sense, drop the link to your lead magnet as well and say, this might be something that's useful to you. And the great thing about the forums and putting it in there like that is that people are searching in forums. Sometimes they're looking for, okay, did someone else ask this question? Or that post may have some longevity and people can go back to it. So it's not just the one person that you responded to that is going to see your link. It's anyone who is looking at that post now or in the future, they can be clicking your link to your landing page for your lead magnet and then opting into your email list that way. And I think also too, finding out from moderators if they do promotional threads and things like that. You can also find out if you can do a little bit more promotion of your lead magnet on certain days or in the group. But I think the most authentic ways to really provide that value is by answering someone's question and then dropping a link to a resource that you have. And, this goes without saying, it does not have to be just lead magnets. If someone is looking for a service provider and you provide that service, then I would totally say, again, answer the question, give a little information and background about who you are, how you help people, and then drop the link to your services page or to your blog or to your contact or your book a call page. So whatever the case may be, but if it makes sense to drop the link to your lead magnet, that is a great way to do that. So I would say, in the beginning of your business, maybe going in, having a task on your to-do list of, hey, I'm going to go into these 4 forums or Facebook groups or again, wherever your audience is hanging out. I'm going to just skim and look to see if there are any questions being asked that are relevant to me. So don't feel you have to go in there every day. I would set a time limit on it so that you don't get dragged down in can be a rabbit hole sometimes, but just dropping in there, looking to see if there's anything relevant, and then answering a few questions a couple times a week is just such a great way to get started and build some momentum. and really connect and let people know, hey, you're out here, you're ready to help people. And I would also make sure that since you're posting in these forums, make sure that your profile is optimized too. So that, if it's Facebook, for example, if you're posting as yourself personally, make sure that you have your business linked to your personal profile and your website in there and all of that good stuff. So if people click through and want to look, and learn more about you, they're also seeing that professional piece up there too. Okay. Next tactic, next tactic, guest speaking on podcasts or authoring a blog on other blogs. So you do not have to have a large audience or be a big name person to land huge podcast interviews. So go looking for podcasts that are in your niche, that are relevant to your audience, and then reach out to those hosts and see if they would be interested in having you come and speak on their show about a topic that is relevant to you and what you help people with. And instead of a generic call to action to like follow on social media or visit my website, what you're going to do at the end of that is offer your freebie and your resource. So what I would suggest, and this is what I do with my podcast pitching, is I have a few different topics that I suggest, and then I know I have lead magnets that support each of those topics. So no matter which topic the guest or the host decides we'll talk about, I have something of value that I can offer. And that way you're not reinventing the wheel, you're not coming up with new lead magnets every time. So make sure it's all integrated so that if you're saying you're going to talk to moms of busy moms and they're trying to feed their kids and they've got picky eaters and meal planning and all of that, then have a lead magnet that is relevant to that topic. And that way you can share that at the end of the episode. And that's going to help with email signups as well. Okay, here's another tactic that I really love that I only just recently started doing. And this is one that I wish I had started sooner. So it is freebie swaps with peers. So basically what you're doing is you are taking your freebie and saying, hey, friend, colleague, I have this resource. It might be helpful to your audience. Would you mind sharing it with them? So sharing it on their email list, sharing it on their social media, sharing it with their customers and their clients, whatever the case may be. Basically what we're doing is kind of swapping audiences and borrowing audiences a bit, because even though there may be some overlap with the audience, because especially if you're serving similar people but with slightly different problems, you're still not going to have all the same people on the list. So you are asking them to share your resource with their list, and then vice versa, you're asking them, hey, do you have a resource that you would love for me to share with my audience? So it's this mutual beneficial relationship here, partnership, where you are just swapping this free resource. It's very simple. So you don't need to have, this is not like an affiliate program or anything like that. You are just literally giving them the link that you would give to anyone else to download that lead magnet. And what I would recommend doing to make it really easy, like a really easy yes for folks, is to write up an email that is a sample email that they can send to their email list. Now, of course, people are going to change things to be in their voice and their tone and make it fit with however they communicate with their audience, but it gives them a starting point. And that way it just makes it super easy. And so you can ask for the same from this person. And it's just, I love it. I think it's a really great entry point to also have some collaboration with someone. It's a very, in my mind, easy lift to just send an email to a list that's already pre-written about a resource. It's not asking for a sale. It's literally giving value to each other's audiences with this resource that people are going to find useful. And what I would suggest is starting with people and collaborators who have similar sized audiences so that it's really this mutual benefit and working on incremental growth. Now, obviously, if you have a colleague that has a huge audience, but you feel like they're going to be open to it, that's great. But I would also say, some of these larger people out there, they may not be as interested if you don't have such a large audience yet. So it's not as mutually beneficial. So I think trying to find those like right fit people is a good idea, especially when you're getting started. And along those same lines with collaboration, you can also be participating in other people's webinars or challenges or groups. So if you are not ready to host your own events, definitely participate in someone else's challenge, maybe do a guest talk or a Facebook Live, anything that is just getting you in front of other people's audiences. And again, that same thing, you're going to have that call to action be the lead magnet so that people can get more from you by signing up. And similarly, I would definitely recommend collaborating on small scale virtual events. So if someone is hosting a summit, or be looking for those opportunities where you can speak to an audience and be part of a summit where you can be presenting something that you're knowledgeable about, very similar basically to a podcast where you're going to be speaking on a topic. And I would not try and reinvent the wheel. I've done that and been guilty of that myself. I will say that some summits are more successful than others too. So if you spend a ton of time creating a very customized presentation and then you only get a few email subscribers, that can be pretty frustrating. So I think trying to reuse where you can, still, of course, make it valuable and align with whatever the summit topic is or what that summit host is asking of you, but seeing how you can reuse things at the same time. And then your call to action, again, is going to be to get this great resource that you have available that coincides with the topic that you spoke about. And again, this is going to just be an easier ask and an easier yes for people to opt in as that first step, is to get this free resource versus asking them to sign up for a discovery call or work with you. You can still talk about what you do and invite people because, of course, there are going to be those potential watchers and listeners who are looking for someone right now. They are ready to buy. They are looking for a service provider. So we don't want to miss that opportunity to just bring that up. But for most people listening, they're not ready yet. They're investigating, they're deciding. And so giving them that easy option to get something that's going to be valuable anyway is really great. And then the final one that I want to mention here is a little bit more of an advanced approach or tactic, and it is participating in bundles. So bundles are a collection of paid or premium products that are offered together at a discounted or free rate, and they're usually organized by one person, but promoted by all of the contributors. So you all may have seen me run a few bundles, and you've probably seen me promote a few bundles. So I have participated in bundles in the past, and then last year in the holiday season, I ran my first bundle myself. And then we also just ran a bundle this summer, and we are going to be doing another holiday bundle. And basically these bundles, they can offer free things, but mostly they're for paid products. So I have participated in some bundles where it was just a freebie bundle. And so all of the things were already free and just available anywhere at any time. But the benefit was that this person who organized the bundle brought all of those resources together because, it takes forever to even find resources out there. And, I feel like every day someone is sharing with me a new person or new thought leader or new resource. And I'm like, how did I not know about this person? This person's amazing. So I think these bundles are really helpful in just surfacing some really great people to get on their email list and learn from them. And maybe some of them have products or services that are really going to help you. But no matter what's in there, it's just helping you kind of know about these people that maybe you wouldn't know about, or it would have taken a lot longer to know about them. So it's totally fine if the bundle is all about free stuff, but a lot of times these bundles are for paid products that typically would have been paid things on these people's websites or in their businesses anyway. So, and they're usually lower cost things like a template or a workshop or a guide. They're not typically live, like one-on-one counseling sessions or anything like that, because the whole point is that there are going to be hundreds of people opting in to whatever the resources are in the bundle. And basically, bundles help you tap into this larger audience, because if you think about it, if there's a bundle, like our bundle, we had about 50 contributors this summer, which was amazing. And when we totaled up all of their email list and audience sizes, it was over 30,000 people that we could potentially reach if all of these contributors, in which the requirement was that every contributor had to send at least one email to their list and do one social post. So all of these contributors who contributed to the bundle were all talking about the bundle that was a bundle of all these different resources to their respective lists. So it's like a freebie swap on steroids, basically. And so when you run a bundle, you get the benefit of everyone is opting in first to get access to the bundle page where they can then see all of the different resources and individually opt into the resources that are going to speak most to them, and they get on the email list of that creator or provider or expert that they really want that resource from them. So typically a bundle runs over a 1-week period and everyone sends out at least one email. The bundle creator probably is sending more, and you can always send more as a contributor to the bundle. And then people usually have some time after that to actually go and redeem. So people opt into the bundle and then they have some time to go through all of the products because, if there's 50 different products you want to look through, you need a little bit of time to look through it. So we give people who opt into our bundle typically a month to go and redeem whatever products they want to. And then after that, it closes because we can't give away these things free forever. It's like a limited time promotion. So it allows you as a contributor to get a lot of email subscribers really quickly. So you've promoted the bundle, other people have promoted the bundle, people get access to it, and then they see your resource on that bundle page and they say, yes, this is totally what I need, and they opt in. And so you could see, depending on the size of the bundle, and there's so many different factors, but a lot of our bundle contributors see 100, 200, maybe even sometimes 300 new email subscribers in that period of the promotion to their email list. So it's a great way to get a lot of subscribers really quickly. So what I would recommend is start by participating in a bundle instead of trying to organize one yourself, because it is a lot of work to organize one. And so I would suggest looking for relevant bundles in your niche. So whether you are business to business and serving other businesses, or whether you are business to consumer, there are bundles out there literally for everyone. And there's a Facebook group that's really great called Bundles of Bundles, where you can see people are posting all the time bundles they are running, and you basically just apply. And so what I want to say too, when it comes to what you put into the bundle, these are lower cost things usually. So they're not usually freebies. So you would want to have something that is a guide, or maybe it's a workshop that you gave and now you have the recording and you want to charge a little bit of money for it, or you're going to have some templates. Whatever the case may be, this is going to be something where you are going to have some kind of low ticket, low cost product. And it doesn't mean that you have to actually collect money for this thing, but it's not something that you're giving away for free. It's different than a freebie, unless that bundle is specifically targeted just to freebies. So that one's like a little bit more of an advanced one, but it can be really great. And as your email list grows, sometimes bundles will have a cutoff for, they want their contributors to have a certain amount of subscribers on their email list because we're all contributing. We all want to, like I mentioned, as we pool all of our audience numbers, we are getting more people in. But if we have people in the bundle who only have smaller lists and then other people have really large lists, then it's a little unbalanced. So what I would say is look for those bundle opportunities, but then also be working on these other things that I just talked about in this episode to be building your list gradually as well, because the more you grow your list, more opportunities are also going to appear to you for leveraging your list, partnering and collaborating with people. So really, it's something that is beneficial to you as a business owner for selling your own products and services, but it also opens up other collaboration opportunities to have a strong, large list of engaged readers. I think that's the other thing too. People will sometimes build up their list with, just whoever gets onto it. I think it's really great to have a quality list, people that are opening and clicking, and not just necessarily focusing solely on the numbers and the volume of people on your list. We want quality over quantity. Okay, so just to wrap up, growing an email list does take time, but these methods don't require a huge following to get started. You really can just start today from ground zero. If you do not have a list, I would recommend working on your lead magnet, listening to some of the past episodes about that, and then doing some of these tactics and doing them consistently, putting them on your calendar to do them, because you are going to see results over time. And I would just say, like, maybe even just this week, try one or two of these strategies and see how they work for you. See how they feel, see which ones feel right, and where you can keep expanding and growing over time. And remember that once you've started adding people to your email list, you can begin nurturing these subscribers to eventually turn them into clients and launch courses to them, like that past episode, and do all sorts of wonderful things. So I will leave you there. If you want to explore my lead magnets a little bit, you can always head to whitneybateson.com/resources to see what we have there. And just remember, it's easy to feel frustrated when you don't have a big audience or growth is slow, but just add these small steps over time. The key is really just showing up, offering value, and promoting that lead magnet in the right places all the time. All right, I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.